Hello, my name is Lily and I'm a second year student nurse from Newcastle. And today I'm going to be talking to you about how to demonstrate leadership as a student nurse. Leadership can be described as an ability of an individual or group of people to influence and guide followers or other members of an organisation. Although there are different styles of leadership, some arguably better than others, you can display leadership qualities as a student nurse. It isn't about delegating or bossing people around, it's mainly about becoming a role model for others and working well as a team. The NMC code highlights the importance of leadership when practicing as a nurse. It states you should be a model of integrity and leadership for others to aspire to. This should lead to trust and confidence in the professionals, from patients, people receiving care. It also goes on to state the importance of leadership in nursing. It says nurses should provide leadership to make sure people's well-being is protected and to improve their experiences of the health and care system. All employees can be leaders, from CEOs to line managers, from experienced nurses and healthcare assistants to student nurses. However, as a student nurse, it is really important to bear in mind you should always work within your own level of competence. But there are a number of ways you can show leadership as a student on placement. Here are 10 ways you can display leadership as a student nurse on placement. Number 1, show a genuine interest on the ward you are allocated. In reality, you're never going to find every ward you are allocated interesting. Trust me, I've been there. But there's always something interesting you can learn and take on your next placement. You can show an interest by asking appropriate questions, whether it's about a medication you've never heard of or an abbreviation you haven't seen before. Ask your mentor about it. And by doing so, you show a willingness to learn. I always carry around a little notepad with me so I can write down terms I haven't come across before, and sometimes I research them later or ask a mentor about it. Number 2, try and show your initiative. This sometimes can be difficult if you're in your first year or don't know the ward very well. But doing things without being asked can go an awful long way. Whether it's taking a patient's blood pressure or offering to do something for your mentor. If you're unsure whether something needs doing, ask a nurse or team member if there's anything outstanding you can help them with. This attitude shows your mentor that there's a willingness to learn and therefore showing leadership. Number 3, supporting other students and staff. If one of your colleagues is having a bad day, ask them how they're feeling and offer support to them if they just want to chat things through. By building meaningful relationships with colleagues, it shows a genuine interest and compassion, but also an ability to empathise with other people. And also it can show that you've integrated well into the team. Number 4, be a role model to other students. If you're lucky enough to share placement with other student nurses, this is a brilliant opportunity to teach and learn from others. By taking part in teaching and guiding other students, it demonstrates a sense of maturity and that you can work in line with the NMC code. Number 5, knowing when to say no or you don't understand. Sometimes as a student, you may be asked to do something you don't feel confident in or is inappropriate for you to do. By saying no, you don't feel comfortable, it displays a sense of professionalism and maturity. By also admitting you don't quite understand something, although it is hard acknowledging a weakness, by asking for help from a fellow nurse or mentor, it shows that you genuinely care and want to grow as a nurse. Number 6, reporting a problem or possible service improvement. This can be a hard one to do right. You don't want to be overly critical of a ward you've just set foot in. This is really disrespectful for those who've worked hard for a long time, day in, day out on this ward. But it's important to report things or situations that are unsafe. For example, a safeguarding issue or whether a patient is in danger, such as if they should be monitored to prevent falls. Once you've built up a good relationship with your mentor and your colleagues, sometimes the use of a fresh pair of eyes is welcomed. It can also help the ward improve its services as well. Number 7, giving thoughtful feedback. If you've seen someone give really good person-centred care, or they've managed great under a stressful situation, it's brilliant if you get the opportunity to say they did a great job. I don't think it happens enough. We often focus too heavily on negative feedback, where positive feedback can really make someone's day. By providing this positive feedback, it demonstrates what your standards are and a genuine want to give great care. Number 8, have clear goals. You'll have a lot of proficiencies to achieve throughout your placement, so you'll have to be organised. And you may only get a few opportunities in certain specialties to show that you're competent in certain skills. By having clear goals, it shows that you're competent and driven and taking charge of your own learning. For example, during your critical care placement, this may be the only opportunity you have to learn about airway management. So be aware of the opportunities that are available in your specialty and make sure you communicate this with your mentor. By being aware, it proves that you are keen to learn and you are a competent nurse, which can demonstrate leadership. Number 9, work within your trust values. These values will differ trust to trust, but some examples may include respect others, accountability, patients first, compassion and pride. Get to know your trust values and implement these into the work you do. It's really important that day to day you work within these values. By doing so, you promote professionalism and therefore become a role model for other members of staff. Number 10, empower patients to take control of their own health. If a patient is able, we should encourage them to take control of their own health. You can help empower patients to do this by educating them on their condition or a healthy choice they can make, ensuring that you answer any questions that they may have along the way. You may also help empower patients by showing them support. For example, if a patient is trying to give up smoking, even if they just reduce their cigarette intake by 1 a week, they need to be supported and positively reinforced. It's really hard to give up smoking, and we're there to support patients, not to judge. Empowering people with the confidence and information to look after themselves when they can and to access services when they feel like it's needed helps give people greater control of their own health and encourages healthy behaviours that help prevent ill health in the long term. Next, I'm just going to share with you a moment where I feel like I demonstrated leadership on my placement. On my last placement, I had the opportunity to work with a first-year student nurse. It was her first day, so I gave her a quick tour of the ward and started carrying out personal care with her. It was her first shift, so undoubtedly she would have been nervous and overwhelmed. I know I was on my first day. I took the time to explain why we did things a certain way and answered any questions she had. We worked together for most of the day, and I found that by sharing my own experiences with her and guiding through things she hadn't done before, her confidence developed throughout the day. It was really nice to be able to work with a fellow student and support them on their journey. But it also demonstrated to my mentor that I could be a positive role model for other members of the team. So, to conclude, it sometimes may feel hard to demonstrate leadership qualities as a student nurse, but there are a number of ways you can prove these skills. Some people may think that showing leadership means to be loud and bossy, but in fact, it can be much more subtle than that. To display leadership skills in practice, having a good understanding of your trust values is a great place to start. By treating both patients and staff with respect and dignity, you can show leadership qualities and grow relationships. But it's also important to be self-aware, to know your own limitations and strengths. This way you'll be able to work well as part of a team and manage under stressful situations, and hopefully along the way becoming a role model and leader for other staff members. Another important area of self-awareness is being able to recognise when you are burnt out or having a hard time. By being in tune with your own feelings, you will know when to ask for help, and this will enable you to help others and hopefully become a role model and leader for other people. I really hope you enjoyed my video on leadership. Thank you for watching.